Hope everyone's feeling good. Thank you to everyone who has decided to take up about an hour and a half of their time to tune into today's class. Covering some serious stuff today, guys. This is stuff that you won't necessarily get taught by public domain, and neither will your friends or family probably know this information. I'm sure everyone who's tuned into this class, or in fact this webinar in total, have been seen as the odd one out of the family, the weird one. Oh, watch out for her or him today. Oh, why is he talking like that? Or why is she talking like that? Because each and every one of us has been in the family where one of us just kind of seems like the weird one, because we know something different, or we've tapped into something different, and we're going through a phase in our life right now that we don't 100% understand fully, but we know there is something different going on. We know we're definitely on some sort of path, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like weird. I don't really know what's happening. Well, everything happens for a reason. I'm sure you guys have probably said that or heard that many times, but that whole statement, everything happens for a reason, is said because of a misunderstood law that governs the whole universe. And today, we're actually going to be talking about universal laws. Now, this is a very, very big subject, guys, because when I was originally introduced to universal laws years ago, I just went. It's like I felt like I was going insane because no one really understood what the hell I was talking about. Oh, Sam, just be normal. Like, come back to earth, Sam, as they would say. But the thing is, simultaneously, we're not just here. We're all over the place because we're multi-dimensional beings. And we're going to be going through a lot today. And first of all, what I normally do before I start every class is I do a recap of what we did last time in the last class, just to kind of give people a bit more information to chew on before we get into the meat. So class it as your appetizers, and then we get into the main entrees. So we're just going to cover what we went and discussed last class. And last class we talked about the 6 higher mental faculties, which are all invisible, which we all hold within us to a certain degree of development with each. And we discussed that we had 6 higher mental faculties. We had perception, will, imagination, memory, intuition, and reason. Now, we all use these on a daily basis to a certain degree, and sometimes we have one or a couple of areas more developed than the rest. This is the kind of information that people want to withhold from you because, well, certain people want power, right? But the whole point of this webinar series is for us to claim our power back by understanding and claiming who we are and getting that information back. Sound good? Or does it sound good, guys? Does it sound good? Are you ready to dive deep? Are you ready to go into go further down that all those out there back again? Yeah, we've got a lot to catch up on. We've got a lot to catch up on, and today we're going into universal laws. So, what is universal laws? Okay. The words coincidence, luck, chance, and accident are words used to describe a law misunderstood. Oh, you're so lucky! Oh, that was a coincidence. Oh, just had an accident. Oh, it must happen by chance. No. Everything was meant to happen because it was meant to happen because of universal laws. See, You know, if you was to drop your cup of coffee on the floor, it was on the table and you knocked it off, you'd be able to easily understand why that happened, right? Because you was taught that. You was taught, oh yeah, you know, that's gravity, the whole Newton thing, apple falling from the tree, action and reaction, etc. It was gravity. You were taught that. But the thing is, there are more invisible laws that exist that you wasn't taught. And it would be very, very important for us to understand, to a certain degree, what those actually are and how it plays a part in your life right now. See, Albert Einstein said, God does not play dice with the universe. You don't just get some dice, right? And be like, okay, give me a double six. Damn it, I got a 2 and a 3. It doesn't really happen like that. See, everything happens by divine precise order. Divine precise order. That's how everything happens. There are no accidents. Everything is perfect timing. There are literally no accidents whatsoever. And Warner von Braun, try and pronounce his name correctly, he said the natural laws of the universe are so precise that we have no difficulty building a spaceship to fly to the moon, and we can time the flight with the precision of a fraction of a second. These laws must have been set by somebody. Well, if you was to build a machine, if you was to build a laptop, if you was to build a phone, if you was to build a car, it would operate by certain machinery or certain laws in order for something to function. So what is required? It requires someone, i.e. yourself, to use the necessary technology and know how to use it. We spend most of our lives figuring out how to work these damn phones, or how to work my laptop, or how to work this device or this device or this device, but none of us thought to open the bonnet of our own head and figure out, well, how does all this stuff work? Because when we get to understand what this stuff is, how it works, you'll start to understand that you are literally no victim. You are no victim whatsoever. You literally are the captain of your ship. You literally are the master of your life. And it really is not a situation where you should be dependent on anything or anyone outside of you once you understand how this mechanism works. So, even Einstein said, the only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Understand what he's actually just said here. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. In other words, if you go to school, college, university, you would class yourself as educated, and you would automatically reject everything else because, well, I don't need to know that because, you know, I've got my degree or whatever. However, it wasn't a degree of mastery over yourself. It wasn't a degree of mastery over you or the universe and how you fit into this whole cosmic equation. So your education and what you know is going to limit your learning. See, we are infinite beings, and that means there's infinite stuff to learn about ourselves. Do you see what I'm saying? So our very own education can limit us from moving forward. It can hinder us from moving forward. So the first law I'm actually going to talk about is the law of perpetual transmutation, which is also the law of mentalism. The hell does that mean, Sam? Okay. Basically, with the law of perpetual transmutation, everything is energy. Everything you can see, taste, hear, smell, and touch, everything is energy, and everything is in constant motion. Nothing actually stands still. And this energy is always moving to and through you. So you're like a multi-dimensional being. And just imagine this invisible vapor that exists, that is going through you all the time, going through your mind. We all have this power that's flowing through us. Each and every one of us is really the same at our core because we are operating from the same source, which is thought. And this power that's in the universe, which is energy, it moves to and through us automatically. And we are the ones that can determine how we use this force that comes through us, because we have an imagination. So we can put our own images into this form. And when we hold those images consistently, we actually start to bring all of that into existence. So everything's all a degree of vibration, and everything is in motion, and it will eventually appear in your physical existence. So you're sitting there right now, and you somehow, somewhere along the line, you thought of, you may have got frustrated, or you may have asked a certain question, and it's just kind of been bothering you for a while. It's in your mind all the time, and it's just kind of there until a physical thing came into your existence, i.e., a person came into your existence, or this webinar came into your existence, and you didn't actually know that it was going to happen, but the thought came across your mind as to, oh, yeah, I was thinking about this, or yeah, I've kind of been wanting something like this, or yeah, I needed that. See, as you can see from the diagram, what you are looking at is you. The big circle is your head, which is your conscious and subconscious mind, and the small circle is the body, right? And on top of the head, you can see different kind of like antennae, which leads to the five senses. So you've got sight, hearing, touch, tasting, and smelling, right? And this goes back to previous classes, so I won't go as deep into it. But that is how you receive your information through the outside stimulus. So you are watching this webinar, or you are listening to this piece of music, or you are eating this sandwich, or drinking the coffee, or touching the surface or the material. All this stuff is on constant record, and you are recording all this information through your senses, whether it is truth or false. See, most of what's programmed into us right now is false information, and we just chuck it right in there because we don't know about these laws, especially perpetual transmutation. We're just going to chuck all these different kinds of ideas straight into us. But I'm just going to quickly draw an example just to kind of give you all a recap of how this actually works. So as you can see from the diagram where it says energy right over here, it basically flows through us in this kind of direction, and it goes through our senses into here. And basically, when it gets to this point, that's where we either choose to accept or reject a certain idea, okay? If we accept it, boom, that means it must hit the subconscious mind, which means it's going to cause us to set our body into vibration, which I shall talk about shortly for another law. And once our body is set into vibration, which only happens through a thought that is consistently thought of repetitively, it sets us into vibration, which causes us to do the necessary action, which equals R, which is our results. Okay? So, the law of perpetual transmutation, it's everything is energy, all energy is moving to and through us every single second, minute, and hour of the day, 24/7, and it never stops. And we are the ones that have the choice to decide how we use this power in terms of what we choose to think, what we accept, and what we choose to do with our time. Okay, so there's a lot more that can be explained, guys, but the whole point of this is I could be sitting here for hours, but obviously I cannot be doing that. But the whole purpose of this is to sow seeds in your mind, because I don't want you guys to take this from me in a sense of, oh, yeah, that's it. No, you have to do your own research because you are the ones that can only save yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? You are the ones that can do the work. It's like going to the gym and having a personal trainer. You have someone there guiding you, showing you, yep, do the press ups, but you are the one that has to actually do the work. So I'll say that again. Law of perpetual transmutation, which is also the same as mentalism. Okay, all energy is moving to and through us on a consistent basis, and it will eventually move into physical form. Okay, now law of vibration and attraction. Now I'm going to go on to this one a little bit more in depth because this is what everyone seems to want to talk about these days. Oh yeah, law of attraction, law of attraction. Yeah, yeah. But how many people really understand what the hell this is all about? Because I'm telling you, a lot of people can watch movies like The Secret and stuff like that, but that really is the tip of the iceberg, guys. A lot more deeper than you actually think. We can get deeper on a molecular cellular level. We can get deeper on a quantum atomic level, but that would throw you off your horse automatically. So what I will do is I'm going to use the use of explanation and images to kind of get you to understand where this is going with vibration and attraction. Okay, you remember a previous class where we talked about the subconscious mind accepting an idea, right? And we talked about paradigms, which is a multitude of habits and ideas that control your behavior at an unconscious level that you can't see because all those thoughts are deep under the ground and you can't necessarily see it. It will cause us to act or not act. See, because of our reason faculty, we have the choice to think whatever we want to think. We have the choice to accept whatever it is that we want to accept. And we have the choice to bear fruit of any idea that we want, okay? And I'm sure you've heard like attracts like, or, you attract what you are. Well, that's exactly correct. See, you can attract good things and you can attract bad things, okay? But the thing is, as I will discuss down the line in terms of polarity, you don't really know what is necessarily good or bad because there are infinite degrees in between both poles. But in terms of vibration and attraction, if we go back to the image, which I should have included in these slides, but it's only just crossed my mind now, my apologies. When we are set up into vibration, okay, whatever the idea may be that we have accepted, we feel that something is real or we feel something is true because we've accepted that. And then we wonder why we keep on attracting certain situations or people into our lives. And we don't necessarily know why that actually keeps happening. See, the images you hold in your mind, that you consistently think of, right? It is what you actually attract to you. Now, this is an unconditional universe, an unconditional law, okay? And we are the ones that have control of what actually comes to us. See, when our body is in vibration, we are calling certain things into our existence that are on that frequency, okay? And don't worry, I will be using certain examples, guys, as I move to the next slide, okay? So we are calling those things into existence. And it's like everything happens in perfect timing, but we don't actually know why that happens, which is also a law called synchronicity. See, if you look at the picture right there, you can see it's like ripples in an ocean, isn't it? I'm sure once upon a time, you guys have been by a river or something, and you threw a stone in the water, and then you saw all these ripples go out. Did you know that one little thing, like a stone, would literally change the entire current of the whole ocean, or the whole pond, or the whole river? Imagine that stone as one of your thoughts, and the ocean is the universe. You throw your thoughts in, and it all goes all over the place. That thought goes all over time and space. All over time and space. Thoughts are literally cosmic waves that penetrate time and space. So you think it, and the whole ocean changes. It changes. One thought has the power to change everything. And you don't even realize this is happening. But I need you to understand there's nothing to fear whatsoever. Some of you are on this webinar and you have no idea how you came to this webinar. You have no idea how you came to meet me, whether it was in person, whether it was you discovered me online, I popped up somehow, whether it was a show that you saw, whether it was me bumping to you in the street, whether it was you seeing a certain status of mine on a website which made you think, oh, that's interesting, I want to know more about him. So you decided to add me, and then you then discovered this webinar, and here we are. Unconsciously, you thought of something, and then law of perpetual transmutation, unconditional law, you accepted that, and then all of a sudden, we just happen to be here. See, I guess you could call it serendipity, because you can't actually determine how a certain thing is going to happen. All you can do is basically decide that that is actually something that you want in your life, and then the necessary thing will come to you. Do you see what I'm saying? A thought is a stone you throw in the pond. Ocean of the universe. And you're not even consciously aware of this. But as you sow, so shall you reap. Because have you ever noticed when you throw a frisbee, it comes back around, doesn't it? It's the same thing with your thoughts. You throw a frisbee and whoosh, oh, it hits you again. See, all energy starts from a source, you give it out, and it must return to where it came from. It's just like when you throw a stone in the river. Doesn't the ripples eventually come back to the source of where the impact came from? Yes, of course it must. Why? Because as you sow, so shall you reap, and all energy must return to its original source. So I guess you could kind of call it as you sow, so shall you reap, cause and effect, which we shall talk about a bit deeply later. So just moving on to the next slide, which is still talking about vibration and attraction. Have you guys ever heard of tuning forks? Now understand, this is going to get fun now, because this is now going to shine some light in your mind, okay? Tuning forks are used for a lot of healing, to heal different parts of the body. I remember using tuning forks when I was back in school years ago. But principle is so key with tuning forks. What's a tuning fork? You are the tuning fork. See, by law, if you the tuning fork, it starts to vibrate. Then somewhere somehow in the world, another thing is going. See, when you're vibrating, something else is going. And by cosmic law, boom, here you are. Hi. See, you thought, I want to improve. I want to know certain information. I'm on this path. You're thinking it. Then all of a sudden, somewhere around the world, I'm sitting in my chair and I think, I think I should do a webinar workshop. Then all of a sudden, your vibration, my vibration, because they're in the same vibration, along the same frequency, thinking the same thoughts, here we are. Allow me to use another example, because let me talk about intention now, because intention is really that seed thought, okay? Intention is what everything really stems from. Intention is the seed thought. It is that very thing behind any action that you do or anything that is yet to come your way. So the intention is basically the template. The intention is like the blueprint of your whole manifestation. From the thing you want, the blueprint is set up of how that thing is going to manifest. But don't worry, we are going to be talking about that a little bit later. So your intention, right? You put it out there, or you throw the stone in the water. Now, here's where I'm going to use some examples, okay? Now, we're in an unconditional universe. The quality of your thoughts is really all that matters. And when I say the quality of your thoughts, we're in an unconditional universe, so the quality could be something of an evil nature or something of a good evolving nature, okay? Let's talk negative for a second. Let's say you've got this random guy who says, I'm thinking of robbing the bank. That's his intention. I'm going to rob a bank. I need money. I'm going to go and rob a bank. So that is, in fact, a stone thrown in the ocean of the universe. Now, due to the law of perpetual transmutation, all energy is going through you unconditionally, and it must appear in physical form. You or that person is probably going to attract another person that has a similar idea, and they just happen to coincidentally meet, and they start to form an alliance. Robbing a bank. Oh, really? Me too. Why don't we help each other out? We can split it 50-50. Let's go. And then they go to the bank. They rob the bank. Let's rewind. The point I'm trying to make is one person thought of something. They met another person. Together they met in divine order, unconditionally, to do a certain act where the original intention was, I want to rob a bank. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Let's use another example. Boy meets girl. I'm sure we can all relate to that. I'm sure you've all been clubbing, right? Now, the typical societal ideas of going clubbing is, they will promote sex, okay? You might have a guy and his boys, right? And they might have the intention to go to the club because y'all want to get laid, You see where I'm going with this, right? That's the intention. The stone in the water into the ocean of the universe. They now take action. They go to the club. I promise you, they will find somebody who is going to meet on that same frequency. Person's thinking the same thing too. And they just happen to meet at the bar. Oh, hi, what's your name? The rest is history. Now, that's a very quick manifestation, but every idea has its own duration of time when that thing is to manifest. It's just like having an idea that you want to write a TV show. You don't necessarily know when that TV show will show on screen from the idea of what you had. Going back to the tuning forks, just to give you guys a more of an emphasis on this. So, you are a tuning fork. You think. Every thought. And somewhere, someone, something, some event, some circumstance, some coincidence is vibrating on the same frequency. And you must be brought together in divine order. This should actually empower you guys that whatever idea you hold in your mind must happen due to the law of perpetual transmutation, which is all energy is moving to and through you. To and through you. You accept that. The body's in vibration, and you are now vibrating like a tuning fork. And you are giving off frequency in the ocean of the universe. You are a stone thrown in that ocean. And that thing is coming to you. It's coming to you. That person. Oh, hi. How are you? We have now met in divine order. Now, what's the next step? What's the next piece of the puzzle? I have met you for a reason. For a reason. I'll give you a quick example, and you're all going to most probably reply yes to this, okay? You've been in a situation where you randomly thought of someone. Next thing you know, the person calls your phone, or you bump into them on the street. And then it's a situation where it was like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you the other day. Have you been in a situation like that before? Yes. You are all typing yes because we are talking about mentalism, perpetual transmutation, telepathy. See, we're all connected on this deep subconscious ocean level of thought because that's where we're all connected. It's like we're all kind of connected like a big spider web. It's just where are we on that spider web? Kind of find each other in the end. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's no need to worry, guys. Okay, so I hope you guys can understand that. Okay, now I can get a bit more in depth, but to be honest, you are the ones that have to do the work yourself. So we're now moving on to the law of polarity. There are two ends to a pole and infinite degrees between. See, the truth is, guys, everything is the same. Everything is the same. It's just a different degree of vibration. And I'm going to use some examples with this. See, you've been to a doctor and you've got a high temperature. You're given a thermometer. Place this underneath your tongue. We need to measure your temperature. Okay? Now, have a look at the thermometer on your screen. You will see it will start from 0 going all the way up to 100 degrees, right? Now, there are different degrees in between going from 0 all the way up to 100, right? Now, understand this example. Who's to say where hot starts? Where does hot start? I don't know, because I'm telling you, if we was to jump in a jacuzzi together, you might say, "Oh, that's hot." I could easily put my foot in and say, "Nah, they need to turn the heat up." Who's right or wrong? Doesn't matter. We all have a different perception, right? Because we're all wired differently. So there's always two ends to a pole. There's always two ends. So everything is the same. Sam, what are you talking about? Everything is the same. Well, understand this example. Isn't ice, water, and vapor the same thing? It's just a different degree of vibration. See, you can have ice and melt it into water. And if the water heats up, it evaporates. But logically, we understand it's really and truly the same thing. It's just a different degree of vibration. It's just a different degree of vibration. It is the same thing. So you can have your ice cubes in your drink, right? I'll have a Bailey's on the rocks, okay? Now, if you leave that Bailey's on the rocks on the side, it will eventually melt into your Bailey's, which will probably water it down. I don't necessarily like that because it dilutes the taste. Now, if you was to leave that on the side for a while, it will eventually turn into vapor. It will evaporate because all energy must return to its original source. Like, you get a person. What do they say at the funeral? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? It returns back to the source from where it came from. But there's two extremes. You have the person who's alive in the flesh, and then you'll have the ashes. So let's use some different examples of how everything is the same thing. Good or bad, hot and cold, laugh and cry, dry and wet, fat, skinny, up, down, left, right. See, everything is the same. It's just infinite degrees in between. I could turn to my left, but just because I've turned to my left, does it mean I've turned to my left? Because in a way, I've kind of turned to my right. So left, right, up, down. You could never be on the left of something if there was no right. You could not be inside somewhere if you wasn't outside in the first place. You couldn't be outside if you wasn't inside of somewhere. Do you see where I'm going with this? See, everything is the same. It's just a different degree of vibration. Now, this might make logical sense to you, but let's now talk about how this applies to your mentality, okay? See, who's to judge whether a person is good or bad? Who's to judge whether a person is all holy and saintly and a person who's downright evil? See, we're all somewhere on this thermometer, okay? We're all somewhere on these infinite degrees on the thermometer in terms of our mentality. You've all seen the movie Batman. You have a bad guy and you have a good guy, right? So we know Joker's the bad guy. We know Batman's the good guy, right? In terms of mentality, it's just a different degree of vibration. Because you can say Batman was the good guy, but Batman did some stuff that wasn't exactly in harmony. You know, you have the Joker who could blow up buildings and kill people, but at the core was still the same. So you've got someone who could be on this end of the pole mentally, and you can have someone who's on this end of the pole mentally, depending on our ethics and our morals and our values, etc. So it's all polarity. So there's good, there's bad, there's hot, there's cold, there's always two ends to a pole, all extremes meet, but very rarely, but there's infinite degrees in between. So, in terms of vibration and attraction, now, if I was to, let me just rub this out for a second, guys, just to kind of give you another example. My apologies. I wish there was a quicker option to just kind of rub this all out, but please just bear with me. How's everyone feeling? Falling asleep? Okay. Okay, so let's go back to the drawing board. Okay, let me just select my pen. And I'm going to use red. Actually, I'm going to use blue this time. Okay, so let's look at you right now on your life. Where are you on the mental state? Are you down here? Are you over here? Who knows? Who knows what you planted deep down in the subconscious underground where everything is hidden? Because you could be the nicest person and say, I'm a very loving person, but you've got this mean streak to you, which can be very evil whenever you like it. And it's, I'm going to cuss you out, I'm going to get you, or I'm going to beat the person up or whatever. You can claim you're here, but you have some tendencies which are probably going to be on the lower end of the scale. See, mental transmutation. We can transmute every thought that's on a lower nature to a higher nature. We can transmute the quality of our thinking to a higher degree. Okay? We can get rid of the old evil weeds and we can develop those and transmute that to something more with compassion and loving towards society. Let's be honest. You guys can say, I would never murder anybody, but let them grab hold of your children and kidnap them, hold them for ransom. You would be surprised how low on the scale you can get, and you will surprise yourself. Why? Because everything's the same. Everything's the same. As much as you can consciously control everything, you can be put in a situation where it's like, I'm going to go to the lower end of the scale. Why? Because I need this now. I'm desperate. I need this. I'm in a panic zone and these guys are going to take my kids and kill them. I'm going to do something, or I'm going to run back because I'm broken. You see what I'm saying? But then again, you wouldn't be in a situation like that if you weren't vibrating on that in the first place. Now, every person that comes to you from your attraction is vibrating with you on that frequency, whether you like it or not. Don't judge. You're the one in that vibration. You are the one that is always drawing the people to you, drawing the circumstance to you, drawing the situation to you by your own vibration. Whether, depending on the quality of your thought, will determine the type of individual. There are no accidents. Oh, I want a better guy. Or I want a girl that treats me right. I want a guy that treats me right. I keep getting these same. Well, yeah, everything's the same. But if you're attracting a certain quality of person, it's because you're vibrating on that same quality yourself, whether you can deny it to yourself or not. Bang. You end up together. Do you see what I'm saying? There are no accidents and you cannot escape it. Let's look at this with another example, okay? You can have a homeless person and you can have a very rich person. They're still the same. They're humans. It's just they're on a different degree of vibration. You have ignorance and you have knowledge, right? Just like the information you are being given now. Before, you could class yourself as ignorant. But you were here on the ignorant side of the scale. You got a bit of knowledge, and now you've kind of moved up, and internally it's like you feel like you've moved on a different frequency, and it's like, oh my gosh, because you've had a bit of knowledge added to your being, and you're now vibrating differently. So, something else, or someone, or some book, or some webinar, or some piece of information is also vibrating on that same frequency, and you're now together. You're still the same, it's just you're on a different degree of vibration. Moving on, cause and effect. I call this the law of all laws. Now, by the way, guys, all universal laws are really kind of like the same. There's just a different angle to explain an overall one law, okay? But this is pretty much how it is. And they'll teach you this to a certain degree in school in regards to Isaac Newton and the apple falling from the tree. They'll give you gravity, cause and effect. Well done. Thank you, Isaac Newton. Thank you. But let's get deep now. See, the measure of the swing to the left is the measure of the swing to the right. Okay? You cannot have a fruit without a seed. You cannot play tennis by yourself. There must be someone batting the ball back to you. Okay? Everything is cause and effect. You remember a class where we talked about the process of manifestation. So you understand, in order for something to grow over here, we must have sown it first, because it's a process of manifestation. As you sow, so shall you reap. Cause and effect. Action and reaction. And this applies to every area of your life. Literally every single area of your life. It applies to relationships. It applies to the career. It applies to everything. See, it all starts with you. Why you? Do I need to explain that again? This is how it starts, guys, with you. Now, you can have all sorts of stuff out there saying, you can do it. Be positive. Think positive. I believe in you. That's all on the surface crap. I'm all about, let's get into the meat of how do we do that? How do we get that? How does this thing change? Because we talked about in day one about you have untapped potential. You either didn't know about it, didn't know how to tap into it, or no one showed you how. You are the master. You have a lock, and we need to get a key. What does the key do? It unlocks. It turns the key in the ignition, and you start driving, right? So this is cause and effect. This is how it happened, and there is no way to escape this, by the way. So, action and reaction, cause and effect. This is how it happens. Remember, we talked about physical seeds are the same as spiritual seeds, and it must come in physical form due to the law of perpetual transmutation. All energy is moving to and through us. We are then vibrating. We are now attracting. What comes into our experience, and depending on the quality of our thought, due to polarity, wherever we are on the infinite degrees, we will attract that certain quality of person to us. See, you don't get in life what you want. No, you don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are, on your degree of vibration. See, you will vibrate like this, but you claim you want something of a higher nature, which is you cannot have this until you shift this vibration. In other words, change your thoughts. or transmute your thoughts to a higher degree of vibration. There's a quote, I saw it somewhere the other day, where God is saying, change your vibration and I'll show you a miracle. Don't you just love that? But it also puts you in the driver's seat of responsibility. Now, I'm sure you've all heard about the no effect. You push one and the rest just kind of falls down, doesn't it? I'm sure you guys have done this before. You stacked up dominoes, right? Then you pushed it down and then one, the other, hit the other, hit the other, hit the other, and hit the other, and hit the other, until they all fell down. Right? This is what they talk to you about in Humpty Dumpty. He fell off the wall. Then all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Fell off the wall, smashed into a whole load of pieces. Picture it like a domino effect. Standing, push, it all falls down. A domino effect, a cause and effect, an action and a reaction, a sow and you're reaping. Do you see what I'm saying? I guess the funny thing, and you know I like to talk about this right now, I have to always throw the relationship side in it, okay? You've probably been in a situation or heard of a situation where it's like, oh, I don't think we should go there. One thing might lead to another. Domino. See, to a certain degree, you already understand this principle. It's just you didn't know how to understand it on a mental degree. Because you understand it on the physical level, but do you understand it on a mental level? This is so deep. And what I mean by a physical level is one thing can lead to another. Oh my goodness, there's a pregnancy. This can be quite humorous, but I use these examples to really get you to understand how cause and effect really works. Society will teach you that, you know, man and woman get together to produce a child. We understand a process of manifestation where it would take 9 months for a baby to come to fruition. But you could be pregnant with any idea. Any idea. You could be pregnant with a business idea. You could be pregnant of, I want to meet a certain someone. You could be pregnant of any sort of idea. And when I say pregnancy, I mean a mental pregnancy. I'm not talking physical, but I'm using the example to get you to understand cause and effect. Now, the next picture is a drawing that I drew in my ebook, okay? Just to get you guys to see the tree thing in a different perspective in terms of how it's planted, okay? So, the tree is here, that is just an effect, okay? This is still talking about cause and effect. Stay with me. So you planted a seed, right? Let's say you planted a seed right here. And that seed represents frustration, and I want to know more about life. I want to expand. I don't quite understand. I just know there's something about me that's more. I know I deserve better, and you've been thinking it for a while. And you emotionally get involved in that because it leads to some sort of frustration, right? That's now planted underneath the ground. Here's where we get very, very creative now. Because once the seed is planted, remember what we said about the subconscious mind, the feminine principle, it will produce whatever you plant in it. You put it in, then particles of energy from the universal soil will start to bring itself underneath the ground, okay? Underneath the ground. You don't know how this is happening. It is coming to you underneath the ground. You're thinking it day in, day out. Oh, how do I do this? Oh, I just want this to happen. I don't necessarily know this how this is going to happen. All the particles of energy which you can't see, which you can't hear, can't taste, which you can't feel, you can't touch it. It's coming to you. You don't know how. You don't know when. Something's coming. And then what's this thing going to do? This thing over here, which is your idea, it's going to expand. And it's going to expand under the ground. You can't see it. You can't see it. Expanding. Expanding. And all of a sudden, oh, it starts to pop through the surface. You start to see that necessary event. Or you start to meet that necessary person. That thing starts to come into your life. You don't know how. You don't know how because you never saw it under the ground. And there it was, underneath the ground. It came to you. You didn't even know how. You don't care how now because you're starting to see a process of manifestation is happening. And then all of a sudden, you see a truck, you see birches, you see leaves, the whole thing come into manifestation. Because you were the cause. You had an effect. And guess what? There's infinite amounts of cause and effects until you actually get the thing that it is that you want. Remember the dominoes. Let's go back. Let's go back. See, one idea, one cause is also an effect as well. See, you met someone who led you to someone else, who led you to someone else, who led you to a certain event where you were to meet someone else, where you met this person. And you met someone else, and this person introduced you to someone else. The domino, then a 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 domino. Bang, 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 bang. Domino effect, cause and effect. And then if you go back to this picture, you'll understand all this cause and effect was going on underneath this ground, which you call your subconscious mind. And you don't need to know about the woman. See, here's where we get frustrated. We think we have to control everything. No. See, the only time you don't really have to think about this is when you have sex. Because you know all a male has to do is impregnate the seed. That's it. I've done my job. It's the woman that takes care of everything else. Talking about the mental aspect of this, your spiritual seeds, which is your ideas, you just need to think it, decide it, and you need to plant that thing down with repetition and let the universal subconscious mind be the cause and effect within itself to bring you what it is you want. And then you'll start to be more aware once it pops up through here. Then it will start attracting other particles of energy outside. It'll be the person that you meet. It'll be the webinar that you attract to yourself. It'll be the event you heard about. It'll be the book that you were told to read. It'll be anything. Who knows what the process of manifestation is going to be for you? Because you don't know. You just know that you are responsible for planting the seed in the first place. Manifestation. The result is not up to you. Do you understand what it is I'm saying to you? See, I can tell you, you can look at an acorn right now. This acorn right here represents your idea that you are holding right now. I promise you that idea, that seed, already has the finished result within it. It is the cause and effect within itself. The intention already has the cause and effect within itself. You don't need to know how that thing is going to manifest. You just know that it will once you understand the process of manifestation. Once you understand the laws of the universe, it will give you the courage to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to act on this. Why? Because understanding leads to faith. Understanding leads to faith. Your ideas that you hold are the cause and effect within themselves. You do not need to know how the thing is going to manifest. I will give you a personal Example, I said I'm going to be filming my movie July next year. Now, aware of the laws of the universe, I weren't thinking of how, I just know it's going to be done. So, knowing this information, I decided to write a script. Now, it got to a stage when the script was already written, and I didn't necessarily know what the next stage was going to be. And I got frustrated, but then I remembered, hold on, you're not in control of this whole thing. You've done the necessary action. Let Mother Nature take its course. A few days later, I get a friend call my phone. Hey Sam, yeah, I'm going to film school. You want to come down? Yeah, man, you can sit in my class, see what it's about. Now, for those who know the laws, you know that's linked to your idea somehow. So I went to the film school, sat in the class. It was 3 hours long. And for the second half of the class, I decided to use my friend's ID card, and I went and had a tour of the whole film school, right? I went into the visual effects department because that's what I need for my film. And I spoke to the lecturer in there, told him what I was doing. Cause and effect. Spoke to him, told him what I was doing. He then introduced me to another guy who specializes in that field. Cause and effect. I went to go and meet this guy. We sat down, we had a meeting. He spoke to me and he was talking to me about storyboards and stuff like that. He then introduced me to another guy. Cause and effect. I then meet this guy. Well, that's the stage I'm at now. Understand, one idea of, I want to create my film. I'm going to film it July next year. With faith, I took action on the idea. That's pushing one of the dominoes, which led to the next domino, the phone call. Come to my film school. I went to the film school, which led to the next domino, meeting the guy in the visual effects department, which led to the next domino, meeting the other guy who deals with visual effects. The next domino, the guy who was talking about the storyboard. Each thing leads to another for the manifestation of your original intent, your original idea. Okay? You cannot necessarily see how it's going to happen. Look at the next slide. You don't see the process. Underneath the ground where the tree is growing, in the subconscious mind where the magic is happening. It is the same, guys. It is the same. This is the name of the game. It is the same thing. You don't see what's going on underneath. It's the same process. Cause and effect. I hope you guys are really understanding where I am going with this, okay? And I've talked about this one for a while now. I'm going to now move on to the law of relativity. Now, guys, everything is made real by your relationship or comparison to something. See, nothing is good or bad, but your thinking makes it so. You have to relate something to something else in order for you to make a judgment on that thing. And I'm not going to explain a lot about this one, but you will always do better at something than someone else. And someone is always going to do better at something else than you. Why? Everyone's got different manifestations. Everyone's got different levels of development with the infinite degrees along the polarity scale. See, if you're a singer and you're just starting out, don't compare yourself to Beyonce. That's only going to lower your self-esteem. Compare yourself to someone who can't sing, because then that will raise your self-esteem. See, this once again goes to perception, as you can see in the diagram. Okay? Nothing is made real until your relationship to the thing outside of you. It will either be a threat, it will be intimidating, or it could be nothing to you. Don't place a judgment on that. Don't do that, okay? So just moving on now, as I just quickly load up some of my notes. Now, law of rhythm, okay? Law of rhythm. Out with the old, in with the new. Out with the old, in with the new. Beyonce touches on this in her song. Oh gosh, what was it called again? Something about your... how's it going to go? You must not know about me. You must, something like that. About your irreplaceable. Sorry, is that right, guys? Sorry, I'm just trying to... Is that the right song? Is that the right song? I'm just thinking, like, what the hell is I'm okay, thanks, Lakeisha. All right. See, the thing is, you are replaceable. That's the saddest thing about it. You are, because out with the old, in with the new. The tide comes in, the tide comes out. The pendulum swings left, the pendulum swings right. Someone breaks up from somebody, someone else comes in as a replacement. Everything is recycled by rhythm and in perfect time. Everything. And guess what? This is the only universal law that you can escape. That's right. You can't escape cause and effect. You can't escape polarity because everything is the same. You can't escape law of perpetual transmutation because everything just is. But rhythm you can escape. And let me explain how. And this determines the level of your development in terms of controlling your thinking by using the reason factor of your mental faculty. Okay? Let's say I'm here, right? And I'm going to cuss you out. You are either going to react or it's not going to bother you based on the development of your reason faculty. Okay? Now, if you react and it's like this, that means you got bit by the law of rhythm. The pendulum swung left and Snoop said it best. Snoop's upside your head, or upside your head. You got hit, back. You got hit. However, depending on the development of your mental faculties, which we talked about in last class, you can escape the rhythm. You can escape the pendulum swing of the act or the word that someone said in the invisible mental realm with your mental faculty, which is your reason. So, out with the old, in with the new. So, sometimes you notice this with your feelings as well. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel down. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel down. This is a rhythm. See, how can you know what's a bad feeling if you never experienced good? How can you know what's a good feeling if you never experienced what was bad? Unless you were subject to the law of rhythm. So whenever you guys feel good or bad, you're going to start thinking of rhythm now, aren't you guys? And the next law is law of Benta. Now, this law is basically all seeds have a gestation and incubation period. In other words, all ideas are possible to him who believes. Okay, as you can see from the picture, you've got like a plant kind of thing going, yes, I've made it, I've succeeded. It's like faith. It's like, yes, I made it, right? So understanding leads to faith, and you can achieve anything that it is that you want. Did you know you're actually achieving stuff right now? It's the question of, do you like what you're achieving? Depends on the quality of the thought, which is now the quality of the fruit you have on your tree. Okay? Now, all ideas are unconditional and anything is possible regardless of how big, how small, how evil, how good, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Okay? So, the only time we understand this law is when we know it takes 9 months for a baby to come here into reality. But let's talk about the ideas that you have in your mind in terms of the ideas of what it is that you want to produce. Okay, whatever ideas that you have in terms of career or business or success or position or promotion or finance or whatever. Okay, now it has a manifestation process. It has its own domino effect process because it has the cause and effect in the original seed from when you had the intention of, I want to do this. It has that. The thing is, here's where we get messed up, guys. If you wasn't aware of the laws, the opportunity for your next domino in line, you will miss it because you wasn't aware of the law, because of the level of ignorance that you have over here. You wasn't aware of the knowledge. You wasn't aware of synchronicity. You wasn't aware of cause and effect. You wasn't aware of perpetual transmutation. You wasn't aware of polarity. You wasn't aware of rhythm. You wasn't aware of anything that I have just said to you. And if you're not aware of it, how will you know it exists? How will you know you're in the right place at the right time for the right reason? The thing is, you're always in the right place at the right time. But the question is, are you the right person with the right awareness, knowing that you're in the right place at the right time? Because the answer you need could be right in front of you, and you just won't know it unless you're aware of it. See, opportunities are here. People will say, who are programmed into the matrix of the physical realm, will say, oh, there's not enough opportunities. Oh, we'll just have to wait and see. No, there's an abundance of opportunities. You just have to be aware of it and open to the idea that it might come through a different avenue of what you may not necessarily be expecting. See, here's where judgments come into it. We tend to make so much judgment on what we think should be the manifestation. And sometimes I can fall into that trap as well. It's like sometimes I may fall into the trap of, I think it's supposed to manifest like this. No, that's not necessarily true. We can desire how it would manifest, but that's not necessarily the way it was intended to be, because universal divine law will know how that thing should manifest. And that's pretty much the law of gender. All seeds have a gestation and incubation period. This law will give you the courage and the confidence to say, well, anything's possible, because it is. It doesn't matter if it's not been done before, because you drive, right? There wasn't a car before. You've been on an airplane, right? There wasn't an airplane before, but someone believed it could be true. And they went through this law of gender and said, I can see it, so it must be true. It's just a matter of the process, which is underground, which we can't actually see. We can see this, but you will never see what happens here, of what the person went through, all the hardships, all the struggles, all the loneliness, all the hunger, all the trials and errors. No one saw that. They saw what happened on the surface, but they never saw the cause and effects that happened underneath. They never saw the polarity or the mental state that the person was in. They never saw how the person had to transmute themselves. They never saw how the person failed and failed over again. They never saw how that person went through so much blood, sweat, tears, and labor, and the betrayals or the false hopes or the anything. They never saw any of that because it was under the ground. Until you physically saw it, and it's like, oh my gosh, did you guys see that? Of course you saw it, but you never saw the process of manifestation. You just see whatever it is that you saw now. So guys, I think I've just gone through, is it 7 laws? So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've just gone through 7 universal laws with you. Okay. Now, I'm just scratching the surface with all of this, guys. But really and truly, this will only be intellectual to you. But the thing is, this is not an intellectual process. This is a process that needs to be impregnated into the cells of your being in order for you to really get deep into the meat of what has just been explained. Because you can watch The Secret and get hyped, but there's a process of study that you have to go through to really understand this information. Because this is deep. This will make you guys understand how deep this is. This is not no surface information. This is not a 1 + 1 = 2 equation. This is not that. This takes some serious study. It is the road less traveled. Why is it the road less traveled? Because it's tough, guys. Changing your life, changing the fruit on your tree, changing the vibration, it takes time. Why? Because you have been conditioned to be a certain way. You've been conditioned to believe a certain thing. Most of what you currently know is false. But because the law is unconditional, you can plant anything you want, which means you'll get false fruits. Fruits that don't taste nice. And it just happens to keep on growing over and over and over again. But if you learn anything from these webinars, you'll understand that you can have the fruit that it is that you want to grow. Because most of you are trying to grow bananas on apple trees. It's not going to work. You have to go back to the seed and relearn, or should I say, replant. And understand there's going to be a process of manifestation. There's going to be time that goes into this. The fact that I can explain all this to you so easily, that's no accident. That's taken time of study, years of study, years of understanding, so I'm able to apply this to my life to a certain degree. And in no way do I claim that this has all been mastered in every area of my life, because I'd be lying to you, because it's not. But I'm doing my best. It's just, if you remember what I said, I think it was in day 3, when I talked about same shit, different day. It takes a lot of a continual process of hearing the information, understanding it, and applying the information to see some sort of difference, which will give you this result up here. It's a lot, guys, but I want you to remember, as you're on this journey, the only thing that interferes with your learning is your education. Einstein said it. Lots of people can say this as well. What you currently think you know, ask yourself, is this true? Are the fruits of my tree the fruits that I want? If it's not, understand that you are going to have to plant a different seed, and it's going to be a different process. It's going to take some time to grow the fruit that you want. I didn't have anyone to physically show me when I was on my journey. Everyone thought I was insane. And I got so frustrated, so lonely on the journey. It was tough, guys. I lost a lot. I did. I lost friends. Family didn't understand me. Certain people didn't understand me. And I really wanted to change my life. And when I started understanding this information, it hit me, man. It really did. It did hit me. It's emotional thinking about it because it's made me do certain things that I'm doing today, and it's also made me sacrifice a lot. So you guys can see great things happening here, there. No one knows the internal struggle. No one knows what I've had to go through just to get some understanding on this thing called life. And all I have to do is just trust in a process that I can't actually see. And not a lot of people can deal with that. Not a lot of people can deal with something that they can't see because they want instant gratification. They need it now. I need to see it now. And if you don't see it now, you don't sign the person. You don't recruit the person. You don't be with the person, or you break up with the person. This applies to all areas of your life, guys. For anyone that's watching this on the webinar, who is also in YouTube land watching this right now, you know, there's a biblical scripture that says, wide is the gate and many go through it, and narrow is the gate and only a few find it. Sorry, I got that wrong. Wide is the gate that leads to destruction and many go through it. Narrow is the gate that leads to life and only a few find it. That's why it's called the road less traveled. Only a few find it, but only a few choose to go down that road. And I promise you, it's not going to be the easiest road, guys, because you're going to have to say goodbye to a lot of people, people that aren't on your frequency, because you're attracting a different reality to you, because you decided to change your vibration. You decided to polarize your mental state onto a different vibration for your body to attract a different person or a different reality or a different experience. You made the choice, but in order to have a different reality, we have to change our vibration. We have to change the quality of information that we have sown underneath the ground. And this information can be great. Yes, I love it. Great. You wait till you start going deeper down the rabbit hole. It gets deeper. And then you will really start to think to yourself, do I really want to continue down this path? But you want to know something? Even Einstein said himself, a mind once expanded never returns to its original state. So if you stop learning, you're going to be very frustrated, because a mind once expanded never returns. See, at the beginning of the webinars, at the very first class, I asked you, do you want the red or the blue pill? You chose the red. You made the choice. You continued to watch the rest of the classes. You continued to study, whether it was through this source or another source. You continue to go deep down the hole, starting to see it in reality. And you're starting to choose who you hang around with. You're starting to have less of an appetite for certain people, or certain things you watch, or certain music you listen to, because you have an understanding that all ideas are spiritual seeds. And you understand that you are the gardener of your mind. You're choosing who is planting the seeds in your mind. You're the bouncers of your own club. You are choosing who's coming inside your club to dance with you. Most people take the wide gate of destruction because it's easy, it's familiar, everyone's doing it, doesn't require a lot of effort, everyone can do it. And we mainly stick to that because it's family. But look at your family. Who's the star of the family? Who is the person that is great success, leaving a legacy behind? Or are you just the odd one out of your family who's classed as weird? Oh, mum, you don't understand me, mum. Or dad, you really don't understand me. You're not seeing it from my point of view because your perception is changing as you go deep down the rabbit hole because you're starting to gain more knowledge about yourself. See, you spent your whole life knocking on a door, only to realize when you study this information and the door opens, you were actually knocking from the inside. You cannot escape this cosmos, regardless of what it is that you want to do. You are knocking from the inside out all the time. It's not outside, guys, because everything you need is inside. You are the library of the cosmos. It's just the library you currently have right now has been programmed false into you by some people. What you are seeing, what you are hearing, who you're around. That's all you're going to bring to you throughout your life. However, you chose to go down the rabbit hole and you started to study some information. Notice the tone of my voice was different. You were, which means all you ever got in your life was, and that's all you dealt with. However, information, which means listen to this. You know a piano, it has black keys. It's the same key, just a different degree of vibration. A low C, dun. A high C, dun. Different degree of vibration. Everything is light and sound. Different degrees of frequencies, degrees of vibration. Your thoughts and you are the stone thrown into the pond, into the river. You think it comes back. You throw the frisbee, it comes back. Hits you back. What's your thoughts? It might just creep back on you, whether it's good or bad. Isn't it weird when you realize that you're the one responsible for your own life? It's not about someone on the outside. And even now, after years of discovering this information, it might be a hard pill to swallow. Everyone wants a scapegoat. Everyone wants to blame someone else. No one wants to take responsibility. Do you want to know why? Changing your life is hard work. You have to push past the resistance because going down the road less traveled, you're going uphill. Try riding a bicycle uphill. I promise you, you're going to meet resistance. Everyone can ride downhill. Woo! It's easy. As you go up the hill, and you're like, you're riding up the hill. Ugh, it's tough. Learning all this new knowledge. This is so weird, but I know it's necessary because I want to change my life. I'm going up this hill. And as you go up the hill, you're realizing your friends and family are going down. Just saw my mum go. Well, my other going in the opposite direction. Sorry, guys, it's just my light kind of went out. So it really is a choice. And I'm not saying this isn't the road for everybody, but due to the cosmos evolution right now, everyone's actually going through this stage, whether they like it or not. They're actually going through it. Only you know your life. Only you know where you was when this whole thing started on your journey. Only you know. Only you know. We've covered some deep stuff today. It's provoked you to think about where you are currently right now. And all I will say is next class, we are talking about meditation, brain waves of consciousness. And the next class is the last one. It's the last one. It's the last. And I really do hope that you guys really fall in love with this information because it will change your life for the better. But because everything's the same, there's going to be another effect. It's, you know, it comes with the good and it comes with the bad. It's just a question of how much you're willing to deal with. We've gone through a lot today. That's actually the end of today's class. Anyone who is currently watching this right now, who are live on the webinar, or whoever's watching this in YouTube land, I ask you to really think about where you are in your life right now. Are you willing to trust the unseen? Because walking in the unknown, it can be scary, it can be exciting, but understand you're going to be losing some people along the way. So I will say to you guys, thank you for coming on today's class. I hope you gained some valuable information. So now I'm going to open the floor to questions. Please keep this to do with today's class. You can either verbally speak to me or you can feel free to type in your questions and I'll be happy to answer. So, floor is open, guys. You can either speak to me or type in a question below and I will be able to answer the question and we can go from there. But thank you very much for coming on to day 5 of Thinking into Results. I'm just here to help you think into better results. And next class, I'm also going to be introducing to you guys my life coaching program, where I will be working with you one-on-one on this journey with the goals that you actually want to achieve. But I shall be talking more about that in the next class. Thank you, guys, and I'm open for discussion. There should be a function on this software where you're able to verbally speak to me. The whole class can hear, and you can also type in your questions below. So I'll leave the floor open. If no one types in the next 60 seconds, I'll just kind of disconnect. But thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Don't be shy now. I see someone's typing. Good. Yes, it is true that you attract what you feel because feeling and emotion is the language of the universe. It's beyond thought, it's what you feel. Because you can think something, it doesn't necessarily mean it will manifest because you've got to become emotionally involved to the idea. Remember what we said about the subconscious mind is the emotional mind? You have to let the feminine aspect of your mind feel and accept the idea that you have planted. It talks to the universal subconscious mind, which brings the necessary stuff to you. The only reason you've attracted this webinar is because you are emotionally invested in your idea. You attract what you feel. Whether you feel unworthy, you will attract situation, people, and circumstances that's going to verify how you feel. Any other questions? Yep, it's worth it, but keep the tap running. This is not just a one class. Keep the tap running. Someone else is typing. Okay. Anybody else have any questions or even just feedback for today's class? Anything? I will end the class if there is nothing else for anyone to say. Someone's typing. Okay. Great job at explaining the laws. Thank you, Angela. Oh my gosh, to actually try and explain it is crazy. That's why I have to use images and metaphors to get you to understand it, because I know there's a lot of esoteric stuff out there that will talk to you in a way where you're like, what? But we think in pictures, which is why I need to give you a picture. Any books that helped you regarding this session? Oh, wow. Oh, Laurie. Thing is, it's not just one source. There's so many sources, and I've had a library of over 1,000 books. Where to start? I would say a good book for you to read would be called The Kabbalion, which talks about alchemy and the science of mental transmutation. It touches on the laws that I have spoken about in a more scientific level. Okay. The whole purpose of me doing the webinar is for you to get a easier kind of picture in your mind to understand what it is that's been said to you. So anyone else have any question? Oh, Angela says I'm frozen. Am I, guys? Is anyone else experiencing me frozen right now? Is anyone else experiencing me frozen, or is it just the one person? Oh, not now. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, what can I say? It's technology, guys. It's fine. Well, unless anyone else has anything to say, I will leave my email address for anyone in YouTube world who has a question or who wants to reach out to me for any other classes, and even to introduce next class, which is going to be when I introduce the next stage and also the whole life coaching program, which I shall explain more about next class. But if that's it, guys, I want to say thank you very much for logging on to today's class. It's been great. I love sharing the information. And yeah, feel free to tell your friends about this. Tell anyone you think who is on that wavelength about it. But I can guarantee anyone who has seen this on YouTube, it's no accident you've come across it, because there's no accidents in the universe. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for logging on. I have left my email in the chat box below, which is bentatalks@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to me, guys. And remember, as you sow, so shall you reap. Thank you for joining today's class. I shall see you in day 6. And by the way, those that are currently on the class, guys, day 6 is actually going to be a lot sooner than you think, for personal reasons. Day 6, I'm actually going to be doing, what day are we? Wednesday. Day 6 is going to be this Saturday. Day 6 is going to be this Saturday. So I shall see you guys then. Thanks, guys, and bye-bye.